right, I'm back. Part 2 of what names we like but would never name our babies. Part 2. People are getting Dominoes delivered next door. Want Dominoes? All right, get back to where we're at, Wendy. All right, so if you missed part 1, that was boy names that we like that are on our list that we would never use. This is part 2 of girl names. If you're new, I'm Wendy. My husband Adam and I have 5 kids, 4 girls, 1 boy, ranging from 22 years old down to 8 months old. And part of me wants to be like, oh, and everything in between. But the girls are 6 years apart. And then there's 15 years later, there's baby Harry. But let's go over what our girls' names are. So the oldest is Desiree. She is Adam's daughter. She is 22. College. She's graduating college like this year, but it's not having graduation because of the coronavirus, so feel bad for her. And then our oldest is Dixie might bark because people are getting delivery. Is Joey. She is named after Adam's mom's mom. And then her middle name is my mom's grandmother. So she's named after her great grandma and her great great grandma. Dixie, come here. Her name is Josephina Alice. So we call her Joey. She never goes by me. And 2 of her grandparents are the only 2 people that ever call her Josephina. And actually one of them calls her Josephine. So nobody else calls her that unless she's going to the doctor or at school. But then we have, and Joey's 20. Then we have Addison, who is almost 17. She is Addison Nanette. Nanette is my mom's name. And then Addison means daughter of Adam. So her and Adam have the same initials. She's named after Adam. That's where her name came from. Then fast forward 14 months later, we had another girl and couldn't figure out what to name this baby. We couldn't agree on anything. We couldn't decide on anything. We had no clue. So Kennedy's name is Kennedy Aramea. Kennedy is what we were going to name Joey. Aramea is what we were going to name Addison. We were actually going to name Kennedy Liliana, and I was pregnant with one of Adam's cousins at the same time, and she really liked the name. She was due before me, but I had Kennedy first, but I didn't want to have them having the same name. So there's that. But let's jump in to girls' names that we like that we'll never use, or probably never use. I can't say never use because we thought we were done with Addison. These are... A lot of these are like, 2 of them, Adam's like, no way in heck. 3 of them, Adam's like, no way in heck. Well, 2 of them, one of them is, it was if Harrison was a girl, I got an okay, but we knew Harrison was a boy. We had the picture of his boy parts. We got the blood test. We knew he was a boy. But just in case, you know. And then one of them is Adam's, and I'm like a hard no. So let's start with my 2 that Adam are like, no, is Willow. I just think it's pretty. I also grew up in Boulder, Colorado, which is the land of the hippies. And Adam's like, no. And then I like Hazel. But both of those names you can't really shorten to anything good. And that's a big thing with me that I think is really important, is having a good nickname on the child, because you can't shorten Wendy into anything nice. You can't shorten Adam into anything nice, so that's a big factor in when we're naming the kids, to have a shortening name. So that's why those 2 are a no for Adam. Adam's name that I'm like, is Isabella, which ironically, Joey was supposed to be Kennedy Bell, because Kennedy Isabella didn't sound right. But I feel like Isabella is just used a lot. Now, I know Addison and Kennedy are used a lot now. They were not the years they were born. So there's that. Another name that we both, like, Adam and I were like, if Harrison's a girl, this is what we're naming her, is Eleanor. We both really love the name Eleanor and Ellie. However, Adam's brother's daughter, so Adam's niece, her nickname is Ellie. So I'm like, I don't want two of those. Same with Edeline. We both like Edeline, but I have a brother named Eddie. And so if you short Edeline, it goes to Eddie. So I'm like, no. And then Liliana's on our list because I love that name. But again, I'm not having. So Adam's family have a lot of the same names in it. There are like 9 or 10 girls, either first name or middle name after one of his grandmas. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. One of his cousins on his mom's side, her middle name is Josephine. So like, you know, but they were born really weird. They were born the same year Joey was, but Joey is 5 months older than them. They're twins. But yeah, so I'm just like, I'm not having multiple names in the same family. Then we have Annabelle was a name that was on there before we found out Harry was a boy. We passed name backs. Annabelle, we like Annie. So then Lincoln, I like, again, if you guys watch The Boys Name, I like presidents because we have a Harrison and a Kennedy. But Adam doesn't like Lincoln, and you can't really shorten it to anything. Another name that just came up is Ainsley. But Adam said no, and we made the list together, so there's that. Then the last three are names that if we were to have a girl, they'd be contenders. One of them Adam hates, but because he loves his wife, he lets me have it as a contender. I'm gonna leave that one for last. But Penelope, and we'd call her Poppy. We wouldn't call her Penny, we'd call her Poppy. I just think it's cute. And then Colette, and call her Letty. These don't have, none of these names on either of these lists, besides the boys' names, that names we wouldn't use for our fathers, have any meaning. All of the other kids are named after somebody. And so I just, these are just, the last two lists are just, they're not named after anybody. Nobody in the families are these names, so they're just names that we enjoy. And then the last name I love, and Adam doesn't like, but is leaving it on a list of a contender, is Mildred. He likes Millie. I think Millie is cute, but I just think Mildred is cute, but he goes Mildred. I don't know. It's just like an old name you don't hear anymore. Nobody has it, but he said no. Mildred is the name that I got him to agree that if Harrison came out a girl, we'd call her Mildred. Again, we knew he was a boy. There was no questioning it. Like, you can't, you know, an ultrasound is usually like, I think they say now is like 80% accurate. The blood test is 99% accurate. So like, there was no questioning if he was a boy. So that's why he was like, sure. If he comes out a girl, we'll name her Mildred, no problem. But yeah, I just found it funny. So what names do you guys like? Oh, sorry. Nope, that's all of them. Sorry, I thought I saw a different one. But what names do you guys like that we don't use? Or names that you guys really like, but your partner doesn't like? Because naming a baby is hard. Because like, especially if you have a girl, you have to kind of like, you know, nowadays, not a lot of women change their name, but like, if they're going to change their last name, what kind of like name do you want? Like, you don't want one that's going to be like, you know, I don't even know. Like, there's one name I can think of, but they watch my videos and I don't want to upset them that I think their baby's name is not good because it's like the same first name and last name kind of. But, you know, you have to like think of these things. Harrison's coming to get me. When you're naming a little girl, because her name could change. She could potentially get married and change her last name. I changed my last name when I got married. You know, and then like if you have a son, that's his name for life. Unless he wants to pay the money, he wants to go through changing it, like their name is their name. So there's a lot of pressure and stress on you to have to name your baby. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.